Let's see. President Trump speaks to reporters after signing an executive order to end cashless bail in D.C. and leftist jurisdictions nationwide. So cashless bail, he has signed an executive order. Obviously, like the next story we'll be talking about, the president does not have the power to do this. What he's doing is trying to force this in front of the courts to have them rule on it. So it's not that Trump can actually do this. What he's doing is forcing the courts to take it up, which I don't agree with. I don't think he should be doing that. It's a bad precedent to set because the Democrats are going to do the same thing once they get into power. They're just going to start signing off on all these bullshit executive orders, and then they're going to force the court to rule on it. So he does in D.C. for this one. Well, in D.C., yes, he's allowed to. D.C. laws, he should. Well, see, that's the thing with D.C., though. D.C. never should have been its own entity. It should have always been under the control of the federal government. So, yes, D.C., he does have that power. The Gateway Pundit reported that the executive order threatens to federally defund cities and towns that enforce these policies that are an obvious threat to public safety. According to the New York Post memo, a memo from the White House states, the cashless bail policies allows dangerous individuals to immediately return to the streets and further endanger law-abiding, hardworking Americans because they know our laws will not be enforced. The order will also reportedly end cashless bail in Washington, D.C. This also comes as the president has signaled plans to deploy the National Guard to cities like Chicago, New York, Illinois, and to replicate his successful crime crackdown in Washington, D.C. Yes, I have another story. We'll be talking about that in just a minute from The Independent. And yes, Trump mobilizing up to 1,700 National Guard troops in 19 states to widen crime and immigration crackdown. So yes, that's what they're talking about there. It goes on to continue. It says, now you look at what the Democrats have done to San Francisco. They've destroyed it. We'll clean that up too. So earlier this month, Trump announced in a press conference that he was federalizing the D.C. police and deploying National Guard troops in the streets of Washington, D.C. to end the lawlessness in the Capitol. He also said that he will be working with Republicans in Congress to change the statutes to get rid of the no-cash bail and some other things that empower criminals in D.C. and other major cities across the nation. The president is scheduled to sign the order and hold the press conference in the Oval Office at 10 a.m. Eastern. Watch live below. We're not going to watch that live, but overall, this is great. I do want the cashless bail to be abolished. We do not. It was a failed policy. It did not work. What I will say, however, is that cash bail as it stands does need to be abolished. Cash bail has never made sense to me, even as a young kid when I would hear about these sorts of things. I would hear, wait, you commit a crime, and then if you have enough money, you can get out sooner before your trial? Makes no fucking sense. It has never made any sense. And all it tells me and all it tells other regular people is that you can break laws as long as you have the money to do so. That's the same thing with all these stupid tickets and fines and crap. Tickets and fines don't mean anything to you if you have the money for it. It's not an actual punishment if you have the money. When you put fines or tickets on people, when you force someone to pay money for something, that only affects poor people. That's only a punishment for poor people. Only poor people get punished by this sort of thing. So if someone commits a crime where they were violent, I don't want them to have a bail. There shouldn't be a bail. Why is there a bail for this sort of thing? Literally, all bail is it's another way for the government to steal money from you. If I could pay the government money to get out of prison, clearly I'm not that big of a threat, right? So why are they charging me money? Bail means that you're innocent until proven guilty. The fact that it's high amount is a problem. No, bail is ridiculous. Regardless of how you cut it. I don't care how you cut bail. Bail is ridiculous because, what's it called? Like you said, if I have the money, I can get out. But if I'm a violent person, I need to be kept behind bars. If I'm not a violent person, you had to arrest me. Yeah, arrest me, get all my information, all you need, whatever. But if I'm allowed to be let out, why do I have to pay money to the government to be let out? It's never made any sense. It doesn't make sense. It's stupid. It's always made sense. Fines are just the tax to commit the crime. Exactly. So again, what I'll say is, cashless bail doesn't work because they were just releasing violent people back onto the streets. What I'm in favor of is removing cash bail because it doesn't work in general and just keeping people in prison if they should be there. If I get arrested, keep me in jail until I'm no longer in jail. Keep me, if I'm suspected of a crime, arrest me, get me to a speedy trial, we'll figure this crap out, and either I did it or I didn't. So why am I sitting in jail? And I've told this to my sister before, because my sister has sat in a cell, and we paid her bail to get out. And guess what? Instead of getting her hearing on a Monday, they pushed it to a month away. So now you have to wait a month. So it's all a scam. It's all a friggin' scam. But what if you didn't do it? Okay, well, if I didn't do it, then that's what having a speedy trial is for, right? And even if I didn't do it, guess what, Chris? If I didn't do it and I'm too poor to pay the bail, well, guess what? I'm still going to be stuck in there, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether I did it or not. Let's say I did do it, and then I paid the money to get out. Define speedy. Speedy would be less than 48 hours. It shouldn't take more than a weekend to get me a trial if you're accusing me of something. Let's read this other story that I was just talking about. Trump mobilizing up to 1,700 National Guard troops in the 19 states. Says the Trump administration reportedly plans to mobilize up to 1,700 National Guard troops across 19 states in the coming weeks to support its immigration and anti-crime crackdown. I said crack really loud. A dramatic expansion of the controversial operation that's seen federal agents and Guard troops carrying out activities across Washington, D.C. The troops, who will largely be activated across Republican-controlled states, will serve in support of the administration's immigration and customs enforcement operations, as well as other law enforcement priorities, according to comment unnamed Pentagon officials and documented by Fox News. So essentially what they're doing is sending the National Guard to assist ICE with 19 states. Interesting. I was looking for a list of the states, but that's fine. We don't need a list. Basically, just National Guard is being activated to go and crack down on some of these, larger immigration issue areas. Let's see what I see. You guys are going off in the chat over that last topic. Let's read some of what you guys are saying. Let me go back up here. Can't harm the Jews flag now because it's a religious flag protected status. Yeah, which is stupid. It is like pay to win in video games. Haha, there are tons of punishments for poor people. Oh, yeah. Bail means that you're innocent until proven guilty. I already read that one. The word fine to the rich is synonymous with the word fee. Yeah. Tickets and fines make a lot of sense when you start to realize that speed limits are not really set by the government, but by an objective standard. Tickets and fines do make sense to an extent, but what I'm saying is that you're putting a price on breaking the law when all the punishment is a ticket or a fine. All you're doing is putting a price tag on the law. Here's the price tag and you get to break the law. That's all that tells me. Yeah, they should protect the public, not let rich pedos out versus poor ones. Exactly. Speeding tickets are a punishment for poor people. Yes. Yeah, it's always made sense. Fines are just the tax to commit the crime. Yeah, that's, if you put it that way, it does make sense. That's the point. I mean, there's more poor people committing crimes. We all know that. Exactly. Let's see. I don't want to read all of them. But what if you did? I already read that one. No such thing as a speedy trial. The system is overwhelmed. Yeah, because we need more judges. We need to hire more judges. I've been saying that as well. If you can't get me to a speedy trial, that means you need to hire more judges, or then you just don't get to charge me. If Tyler gets arrested, I am protesting outside the courthouse. Well, there you go. If I didn't do it and I'm forced to pay the bail anyway, that's still guilty before being proven guilty. Exactly. Nail on the head with that, Sean. If I have to pay for my freedom, then I'm already being dealt a punishment whether I'm guilty or not. If my freedom has a price tag on it, you've already decided that I'm guilty. So there's already a punishment. Speed of the government says speedy would be 18 months. Well, that's ridiculous. I think we need to update that, because 18 months in terms of like horseback is what they meant, because they have to do mail on horseback. That's why it was 18 months. In a day and age like we have now, 48 hours, less than a week. Less than a week. Maybe the trial lasts 18 months. Maybe that's what you mean. But it should not take 18 months for the trial to start. What I mean by speedy trial is the trial starts within 48 hours and is wrapped up in less than a month. No trial should take longer than a month, and no trial should start less than 48 hours to a week upon your arrest. That's my opinion. And if we can't meet that demand, then we need to hire more people. Court system's so effed. A lot of people, you guys are talking. I can't read all of these. Let's see. If you pay for bail and in your trial, you should get your bail money back. I think in some cases you do, but not all cases, Wiggum. Yep. If you're not arraigned in 24 hours, you should be freed for non-serious crimes. Yes, that is a good point. I have never thought about that. I gotta order a new keyboard today. Wah wah. Oh, sweet summer child. It's okay, Chris. You can go and argue against me on your show later. It shouldn't be life destroying. I have seen in some other countries, some other countries will give you a fine or a ticket based on your income, but still, I mean that's not going to matter that much, right? I mean, if they fine me at 10% and I have $1,000 to my name, that's $100. But if I have $1 million to my name and they fine me at 10%, I mean, yeah, that's a large chunk of money, but it's still not going to affect me as much. You know what I mean? So I mistyped. I meant if you pay for bail, but then you win your trial, you should get your money back. Correct. Yes, I agree with that.